I'm gonna put grown-up glasses. Okay. Okay, good evening, everybody. Sorry for the little bit of delay. So at this time, which one is, there it is. So at this time, we are going to open the Wednesday, November 19th, Trumbull Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If we would all rise, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call. Ms. Hall, you are here. Ms. Delvecchio, you are here. Mr. Silber has not arrived yet. Mr. Kroll is here. Mr. Cousins is here. Mr. Deacon is here, and I am here. Does that work for you? Good. Okay, before we start the public hearing, I am going to make the town planner, which is that guy over there, uncomfortable. Okay, for those of you who are not aware, our town planner, Mr. Rob Labrandy, has done some significant things. So Rob just competed again in the World Martial Art Games this year in Oslo, Norway. Right? Rob competed in the men's heavyweight black belt breaking division. He received 3 gold medals and the Grand Champion Ultimate Breaker Award for the most material broken. That man sitting over there is the world champion 2 years in a row for the ultimate breaking. That's the guy. He was the head coach as well, but there's a lot of other stuff. But between his day job and his karate school, and he represented the United States of America and a 2-time champion. He is an awesome guy, And he's embarrassed. I did my job. All right? Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go right into a couple things. We're going to play with the agenda a little bit. So the first thing, if anybody is here for Hedgehog and the parking lot, that is going to be postponed until next month. So if there's anybody here for that one, you know, we don't want you to wait till it comes up. So it's going to be postponed. You know what? While we're in it, I'll take that motion now to continue the hearing for application 2523. Mr. Cousins, thank you. Second, Ms. Delvecchio, thank you. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ms. Hall is voting tonight until and if Mr. Silber arrives. So that's done. Okay.
Sorry.
You gotta come to the microphone, name and address.
Frank Taberski, 11.
At the microphone, push the button for the green. There you go. Excellent.
Yeah, Frank Taberski, 11 Eldor Lane, Trumbull.
Okay.
Quick question, is there any reason it was delayed to next month, or is it purely
Yes, the paperwork was not all completed through all the town steps. There was one step that was missed, and they have to go through it. It is simply administrative paperwork.
Okay.
And same for every applicant. There was one piece missing, and they realized it, and they have to go do it. It's just that simple.
But plans are still the same? No
I think
change to
everything
that?
is exactly the same, except there was a town process skipped, and they have to go back and do it.
Yeah, has there been a date set? Is it a
It's
normal
next month's
date?
planning and
Next
zoning
month.
meeting.
Okay,
Right?
it's already on the calendar?
December 17th.
17th, I'm told.
Great, thank you
The
very much.
third Wednesday every month.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right?
Sorry to bother.
That's okay. Thank you. All right. And the town has asked that we bump up on the agenda the 824 because it's going to be brief. So we are going to do that, and we're going to have right now the 824 referral, municipal improvements referral, CGS 824, report to the town council regarding the location of the Upper Long Hill Schoolhouse on the town-owned property commonly known as 33 Quality Street.
Through the chair. Perhaps we could get Mr. Dennis to fix the static.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rena Bacalar, Director of Economic and Community Development for the town.
John Nair, helping with the project, representing the building department and the town and the Christian Heritage School.
So I think some folks may have seen the press. We have a 600 square foot one-room schoolhouse that was a part of the building that was where the PHA new construction is in Long Hill Green. There was a long process to uncover that building. It was through the help of Mr. Nair and others. It was deconstructed. It is currently stored on Christian Heritage School property. The plan is to reconstruct the schoolhouse, and through multiple conversations, meetings with various people, stakeholders, including our first selectman, and our Director of Public Works and our Parks Superintendent, we have identified a spot which should be in your package on the Town Hall campus to reconstruct the schoolhouse. John, can you speak to the fact that we haven't quite decided?
So the schoolhouse will sit next to the library, right next to the parking lot there. At this point, the orientation is the front doors will face the parking lot, but we're working with Dimitri and George Estrada to have the exact orientation, whether it's perpendicular and square to the library or just at a slight diagonal, whatever's going to give it the nicest display option.
So in your package also should be information on the project. The building, once reconstructed, will be utilized during library hours only. They will use the restrooms in the library. There will be electricity to the site, but no plumbing. It will have artifacts, etc., contained within it. We are raising all the money privately, we think, grants and donations. There's tons of volunteer time that John is lining up and others for this project. We hope you'll all be involved, candidly, as part of the rebuild. It would be great to have some of the folks here involved. So this particular property will be utilized for smaller events, classes, lectures, that kind of thing once it's completed and open, okay? So I'll pause there to see if the commission has any questions.
Are there any comments from commissioners on the project or the 824 referral in front of us? Mr. Crow?
I'm treasurer at the Historical Society, so I'm familiar with it. No
Okay.
issues.
Mr. Cousin? Mr. Deacon? Mr. Vecchio? Ms. Hall? Okay, I think we have an example of people in town raised their hand and raised an issue, and the town heard them, and the town is doing something about it, and the town's using private labor and equity and exercising some town land to make a positive step. I think that's good. Generally, we don't have 824 referrals, public comments not required, but if there's anybody here who wanted to speak in favor or against or make a comment, the microphone is yours. No? Okay. Hearing none? Anything else?
Nope, thank
Nope.
you.
Okay, I'll take a motion to close. Mr. Deacon, close. Second, Ms. Del Vecchio, thank you. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion to approve, Mr. Deacon. Second, Ms. Del Vecchio. Any questions or comments? The motion is to recommend to the town council, right? All in favor? Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much. Have a lovely night. Okay, now we are on to the regular agenda, right? So now we have before us 5 Red Fox Lane, applicant, different eyes on. Applicants Catherine and Robert Magnus are requesting a special permit to establish a 610 square foot, 1-bedroom accessory apartment in a residence AA zone pursuant to Article 2, Section 1.3.2.7 of the Town of Trumbull zoning regulations, file 25-28. So how this goes is you give me your name and address for the record, and I hand it to staff, and he gives me a report. That's what we'll do to start. And if there's anything else, we'll come right back. So go ahead.
Adam Carbone, 233 Amity Road, Bethany.
Okay, and how are you related to the application?
I'm the builder here on behalf of Kate and Robert Magnus, 5 Red Fox Lane.
Okay. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Red Fox Lane is looking for an in-law accessory apartment. They're in the AA zone. The apartment is 610 square feet. They meet the requirement for the percentage. It's 18.29%, where 30% is the allowable max. There is a separate interior entrance to the project. It's above. Usually these applications don't come in front of the commission unless they're building above grade. So this application was brought to you due to that circumstance. So it looks like it's meets the existing home. It won't look like two separate family homes. It's above the existing one-story,
Correct.
and I believe it's for one of the a family member too.
Correct. It's for Kate's mother.
Okay.
Many years ago, we unplugged that. They're no longer in-law apartments, they're just accessory apartments. It's either allowed or it's not. Who lives there is
Yes, sir.
another, that's none of our business. Okay, we're good? All right, we're good. So, meets all the requirements. Any questions from commissioners for the applicant? Yes, sir, Mr. Crow.
Only question was, does this in any way count towards our affordable housing count?
Yes,
Thank you.
all the accessory apartments do. Mr. Cousins? Mr. Deacon? Ms. Delvecchio? Ms. Hall? Is there anybody here to speak for or against this application?
We received a letter from one of the neighbors, requested that it be read and turned into the commission.
You can hand it in. Is it for or against?
It's for.
Hand it right in to that nice lady right there. I think we already have it. They're all, right. All the letters that were submitted automatically become part of the record.
Mailed to the resident.
That's okay. No problem. Okay, nobody here from the public to speak for or against? Any closing statements? No? Good, thank you. I'll take a motion to close. Mr. Deacon, second. Ms. Delvecchio. Take a motion to approve. Mr. Deacon, second. Ms. Delvecchio. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you
a
for your
nice
time.
night.
You as well.
Okay. So, now we're gonna get a little bit of administrative discussion here. We have the next 3 applications are going to be heard together, so I'm gonna read them all. We'll let the applicant introduce themselves, give a quick statement, and then we're gonna go to staff. We wanna hear the staff's full comments and reports, because I think there's some things for us to discuss, and then we'll work from there, right? So, as we get into the applications, it's an overview, and then when we get to the final, we'll take each one at a time when we get to that point. All right, so, we have text amendment, applicant 2125 Reservoir Avenue LLC, requesting to create Article 2, Section 2.8, Reservoir Apartment District Overlay Zone, copy of regulation on file with Trumbull P&Z Office, Town Clerk, file 2518. 3, zone change, 2105 Reservoir Avenue, applicant 2105 Reservoir Avenue LLC, requesting a zone change to the property located at 2105 Reservoir Avenue from Zone A to Reservoir Apartment District Overlay Zone pursuant to Article 2, Section 2.8.4 of the Town of Trumbull zoning regulations, file 2519. And number 4, 2105 Reservoir Avenue, applicant 2105 Reservoir Avenue LLC is requesting a special permit site plan approval for the development of an apartment building with 48 units pursuant to Article 2, Section 2.8 of the Town of Trumbull zoning regulations. And for those in the audience and those watching at home, the reason we're doing 3 at a time is for somebody to build something, the regulations have to exist to allow them to do that. If it doesn't, they need to be created. In this particular case, they don't exist, so they are first asking, can we create this zone? Then they are asking, can we make our property be that zone? And the third is they have the actual application to build something on it. So that's why we have 3 applications. So name and address for the record, and then we'll let Mr. Librandi do his thing.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. I'm attorney Stephen Bellis. I'm with the Pellegrino Law Firm, and I represent the applicant, 2105-2125 Reservoir Avenue LLC, on the 3 applications that the chair just read.
Thank you. Mr. Librandi, I'm going to let Mr. Cordone put something on the record for us first.
Attorney Ballas, as we discussed earlier, I just want to put on the record the where we are on the timeline with the application, which we discussed this afternoon. You had filed a letter dated August 6th, which was the date we were deeming the applications to be submitted, which would mean the legal date of receipt would be our next regularly scheduled meeting, which was August 20th. We are required to commence a hearing within 65 days, which would have been October 24th. You consented to an extension of time of 26 days that we could commence the hearing tonight on November 19th. So I just wanted, if you could confirm on the record that that's what the applicant had agreed to.
I can confirm that that is accurate, and I do consent to that extension.
Thank you, Counselor. I appreciate that.
Okay, Mr. Lebrandi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As our chairman did state that these are 3 separate applications that are going to be heard together. I did develop a staff report, which should be in front of the commissioners tonight for review. Just a few housekeeping items. These applications, one of them does consist of a text amendment and did have to go through numerous other commissions to get to this point. So just for the record, this application has gone through the WPCA, which they received approvals from, and the police commission as well too. We did contact Bridgeport as they are within 500 feet of the application, and we did submit the text amendment to MetroCog, where they did state there's no regional impact. For the commission, if one of these applications is denied, then all the other applications should be denied together, because one affects the others. So right now, I'm just going to go with the site plan special permit application just to review the site itself. The proposed site plan shows a density of 29 units per acre, which is it's what do we say? It's 1.6 acres, and it's that equals out to 48 units. The proposed structure is 3 stories, around 52 feet tall. There's 108 parking spaces. There is an existing single-family residence in the front of the development, which is going to stay. There's 24 apartments per floor. The totals of the project itself is 4 studio apartments, 10 one-bedroom, and 34 two-bedroom units. The side yard setback to the north is 2 feet away from the property line. The building setback to the south is around 10 feet from the property line. There is no security gate shown on the property. There's minimal landscaping as there's minimal green space. The homes to the south of the property are around 200 feet away from the proposed building. That's the houses themselves. So if you look at the back of the staff report, it does show the parcels to the south that are very long and narrow. So just look at that property line and go 10 feet in, and that's where the building would start. There is a pretty vegetated area. It looks like on the proposed site plan there, they are keeping some trees in that area for buffering purposes. It looks like there's a few garages and maybe a pool in the back as well too, for those parcels to the south. The applicant did submit 2 architectural designs. Just from review, one of them looked a little bit more, I'd say more Trumbull, New England characteristic with the pitched roof. I would just have the commission take a look at that to see what their thoughts are. There was one with a flat roof, one with a pitched roof, a little bit more New England design. I'd like to see something with more different dimensions of windows or window dressing, more complementary of the existing residential around the site. I do have some questions for the applicant that maybe they, if this application isn't approved today and is continued, they could submit in the future. The questions or comments are to please submit a landscaping plan. Please submit a street elevation picture showing the building from Reservoir Avenue. One of them, the next one is, will there be a generator on site? Most of the apartment complexes we I know fire and EMS like to have a generator on site because if they do not have electricity, then the town has the burden to displace residents. Look into the sidewalk pedestrian connection from the development to the east. At the police commission meeting last night, the police commission did ask that the planning zoning commission perhaps condition that a sidewalk be installed on Reservoir Avenue. The question about mountable curbs for the fire department, as there is a roundabout in the middle there. Since there's very little green space, what's going to happen with the snow? Is there going to be a snow shelf there? Photometric plans should be submitted since we're bordering on other property lines so close with the building. Photometric plan would be helpful. Will there be signage on site? Please submit that with the plan. Is there any fill being removed or brought in? Will there be any rock crushing? When is the estimated completion and start date? Will there be any buffering around the development? Where will the mailbox location be, inside or outside? Will the current resident on site be rented? And there was some concerns from the fire marshal, the concerns with emergency vehicle access and the circulation as the site cannot be accessed on all sides, and access under the structure to the parking area underneath the building may be a little tight for fire access. And they had some concerns about the fall radius area. There was a traffic study done from Kermit Hua. The conclusion of the traffic study said that with peak weekday morning and afternoon traffic projected from 19 to 24 vehicle trips, that the site can adequately and safely accommodate the adjacent roadways and intersections. So 19 to 24 on that site is very little impact. The conclusion I have for this proposed application, the applicant proposes 46-unit multifamily residential building, 3 stories in height, with maximum elevation of 52 feet on a site currently zoned for single-family residential use. The project includes 104 on-site parking spaces, internal circulation improvements. Approval would require changes to the existing land use designation or zoning to permit multifamily residential density. From a planning perspective, the proposal offers several potential benefits. It would add 48 new residents to the city's housing inventory, supporting long-term housing supply goals and potentially increasing options for renters, downsizers, and local workers. The project would also generate additional revenue for the town and support nearby businesses. However, staff has identified some concerns with the required careful consideration. The proposed height, scale, and massing are significantly greater than the surrounding 1-2-story single-family homes, raising questions about compatibility with neighbor character. Potential impacts include building bulk, privacy loss, shadowing, and overall transition between the proposed structure and the adjacent properties. Infrastructure and service capacity, including water, waste, storm drainage, schools, and emergency access, must also be confirmed as adequate for a development of this density. In summary, the proposed provides meaningful housing benefits, but introduces notable compatibility and circulation challenges within the single-family neighborhood. The Commission may also consider approval with design modifications and mitigation measures denied based on use inconsistency or continuance to allow the applicant to revise the project to better align with the neighborhood context and town planning objectives. I did also make some recommendations to the text amendment that was proposed that I think when we get to that point,
Yeah.
we could talk about that.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, so, Mr. Bellis, I'm gonna give you a couple options, right? So, one of the things we established, you may have heard I said it before when we talked about hedgehog, right? Is to appear in front of planning and zoning, all commissions and approvals of all city departments have to be completed before here. And we're all under the assumption that was. And we see today that the fire marshal's office has not, and they have concerns, right? Who knew what, when, where? I'm not here for that. All I can see is what's in front of me and what is here. So, there's a couple subsets under that, right? One is the actual verbiage of what the fire marshal's concerns are, right? So now that the hearing is open and the concerns are there for you to be able to address, okay, I think the option is yours. I'm not going to force one way or the other because the hearing is now open. But I think the option is yours if you would like to pause to alleviate that concern before you step forward. Because the complication, the next subset under that is fire marshal's concerns are sustainable denials for a regular application and or if an 830G. So right now, we have sustainable objection from the fire marshal for safety concerns because it's so close to the property line and safety access, right? That all being said, let's also talk about the 830G because we've seen you before us several times, and the initiating conversations began with a version of a type of an 830G and then possibly an 830G. And the discussion back then was that this area of town may not have been the right place for such an intense development. And I know your client discussed how it's been done in other towns and didn't see the issue here, but the town of Trumbull thought that that area of town might not be the right place, right? And now you're back. But the concern I have is the 830G portion has been removed. And it's almost as if there's an expectation from the applicant that we should insert it for you to allow this dense development where the town doesn't allow it now, right? So it almost is it's a curiosity to me why that was removed with the attempt to make a project get across the finish line in an area where I know the town's been working back and forth, right? So that's something for you to talk about with them. So I'm handing it to you. If you'd like to go through all of this, we are here, we will listen, but I'm telling you about the valid concerns that an applicant should have addressed, and I'm not beating you up, should have addressed, and I didn't realize that the fire marshals did not sign off as well as have concerns. I don't know whether you knew or you didn't, so I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate your candor. No, I didn't know about it. I found out when Rob came down the hall and told me.
Okay?
Because there's no report. I don't have a report from her.
Okay.
Or if it's a her, I don't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was away or something. So,
right.
no, I wasn't aware of that. And secondly, yes, I can do two things. I want to address all the concerns that staff had brought up.
Right.
Obviously, I think that'll be helpful. And I wanted my client to address your question about removing the 830G. So, and I think you'll understand what we're doing, and it'll take 1 minute.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
We're here for you. The application
Yeah,
is
I just
open
wanted
and
to-
it's
I wanted
yours.
to ask your-
I'm not
yeah.
trying to cut you off.
No, you're not cutting me
No,
off.
no, that's fine.
Okay, and
while
yes,
we're
I will come back with all the stuff. But
Right.
I wanted him to answer that one
right.
question.
So while we're here, and we've gotten this far, I mean,
Yeah.
the end of this is in sight. What the end is, we're all still talking about. The end is kind of in sight, right? But part of it is that house remaining, I believe it's part of your property. If in fact the removal of that house lends the breath of fresh air that you need for some type of adjustments for your property and what's going on to alleviate everybody else's stress, that might be, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you that might be one of the options when you talk with staff
Right.
and whatever's
No,
necessary.
I appreciate your candor. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to address why this is not an 830G. These are all market rate.
Okay.
And he's going to explain why we did that.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
I want to close it and come back and address the stuff. I don't want to do the presentation, but
No,
I'll
I know,
address
but
the
just tell,
affordability.
answer that question.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and I appreciate we had no idea that the fire issue, as Mr. Bella said, we went to everywhere we told to go. Anyways.
We're all on the same page. I
We'll
got
come
told,
back with all
I
the
got
data.
told
The
when
data-
you
The
did.
data should be incorrectly 100%. Just addressing the affordability, I know every time, regardless of where it is, if there's a larger project, towns like to get credit for it, right? So,
Yeah, do your name and address for the record.
Stephen Shapiro, Easton, Connecticut.
The actual address.
20 Virginia Drive, Easton, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you.
The new bill that just passed the House and the Senate in Hartford that the
Right.
governor's going to sign. And obviously, you don't apply for credits for units until they're built and CO'd. The bill's going to take effect July 1st. What we tried to do here is we came before, and Rob said it's like 70% 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms. It was, again, something needs to be corrected. It was mislabeled on the plan. If you actually read the plans, the vast majority are 1 bedrooms because I know school concern was a big thing. So we tried to make, when we came for the pre-app, we heard school was a concern. We made them mostly 1 bedrooms to address that. By making them mostly 1 bedrooms, obviously, if you're making a lot of them affordable, it kind of 1 bedrooms are worth less than 2s. It makes the project a little economically troublesome. But with the new bill, if they're even market rate units and they're within a half mile of a bus or a train, the town's going to get a 1/4 point of credit for every single unit, which on this particular project's 25% of the project. So if you did a workforce reg, that's 10-20%. This is better than that. Even 830G is 30%. It's close to as good as that without having the density. You know, this is only 2 stories above parking. I know it's 3, but it's not some 4 or 5 story building like your typical 830G is going to be. So the town is still getting 25% for all the credits of the units on this. It is 712 feet from the bus stop that's at Old Town Road and Reservoir Avenue, and it's 843 feet from the bus stop on Lindeman and Reservoir Avenue, which are both like 1/7 of a mile, which is much less than a half mile, and you got 2 stops, one in either direction. So I just wanted to volunteer that information. We obviously have a little cleaning up to do to make it a complete, detailed application.
Right.
So I'm going to recommend to my attorney to just come back next month once we address all that stuff, including the turnaround stuff and a couple other things. I believe we got to get you guys a landscape plan to clean it up a little bit, maybe a lighting
Right.
plan, so we're happy to
So-
do that too.
One of the things that we are now in the middle of, and I just want, you know me, I'm the straightforward guy, right? Is the town did not plan for this, and the town is not warm to this, right? And one of the reasons that we're hearing the application is the same as every other planning and zoning commission in the state. If you don't hear what they'd like to do, they can do something else. So what happens is, if it's an 830G, we're going to take the less than, right? That's the situation that we're in. So with this new bill, as you described, I wasn't familiar with the full length of the detail, so that may lend towards why it didn't have to be labeled as an 830G if there's still going to be 830G credit for that development. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it back to you, and I do know they asked this week, we are not in this room in December. We are in a conference room. There was a conflict, just so everybody knows.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna be down the hall, all right? But it's up to you what you wanna do right now, whether you wanna ask for continuance or you want to, go forward.
I don't want to start the whole presentation and then provide you with additional material. I would
Yeah.
prefer to continue
Right.
the matter.
Right, I think there are so many questions that if they were all buttoned up,
Yeah, I can
it's one
answer them. I just need
presentation.
time to do it. I just hadn't seen that before.
That's okay.
Okay. So I would ask for continuance and if
Okay.
you need an extension of time. I don't think we do to your next meeting. So I
No, we
think
don't.
we're-
It's less than
I think we're
35
okay.
days, so
Great.
we're okay.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
think we're okay.
So I'll take a motion to continue the application. Ms. Delvecchio, is there a second, Mr. Cousins? Any discussion? No? All in favor, aye? 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh? 1 against. 1 against, okay. All right, 4 to 1. Continued to the December meeting. No, Ms. Hull started, she voted now, so,
This is just a continuance,
It's a
Mr.
continu-
Silber. You can vote on the application
yeah.
next month. Wa-
Right, yeah,
Watch
yeah.
the watch the minute you miss.
Yeah, you were just here a couple minutes. Thank you very much, and, all
Okay.
right.
See you next month.
No, this is like
Like a present.
can't believe it.
All right.
All right, so, where am I here? We are at, Hedgehog has already been voted on and moved forward. We are now on number 6, text amendment. Applicant Maplewood Senior Living LLC is requesting to modify Trumbull zoning regulations by revising Article 2, Section 2.5, Assisted Living Facility Zone Residential. Copy of regulation on file, Trumbull P&Z office, file 2527. Name and address for the record, and we're going to hear staff.
Chairman of the Commission, Raymond Rizzio, happy to be before you tonight.
Push the green button.
Green.
The red button makes it green. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, members of the Commission, my name is Raymond Rizzio, and I'm representing the applicant, an office at 10 Sasko Hill Road in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application is coming in front of the commission for a text amendment. As you may have heard, that there's St. Joseph's Manor's had some issues in and out, and there's a possibility of a new owner. They're looking to revise regulations to allow other types of uses on that property, to reinvigorate the property as part of our Long Hill Green Zone. The staff feels that this application, these amendments, will help the Long Hill Green area and help promote this property. So we did send this text amendment to MetroCog, and they did state that there is no regional impact as well too. For this, I'm going to hand this to Attorney Rizzio and have him go through the process. Thank you.
Folks, happy to be before you tonight. This is a really exciting application. You know, if you've been around Trumbull forever, like I have been, and a lot of you folks have been, you know, St. Joseph's Manor's been there forever. It's had huge economic problems. It's basically, our client is kind of the last-ditch effort. They're trying to sell, our client has it under contract till the beginning of December. If they decide not to go forward, then it's just going out to auction, which means it opens it up to all sorts of developments because it is a 10-acre piece right there. Our client has come up with a plan that they think they can make work, which is converting the big old building into a combination of assisted living, memory care, and independent living. They'll get historic tax credits, they'll reskin the entire building, and they'll build a brand new building out front to really improve the property. In doing that, they're willing to take the risk of going, you know, basically hard on their contract if they can get a text amendment that knows there's no approvals or anything promised, but just the ability to apply. This building was old, pre-existing, non-conforming. It was under the old regs. It did not come under the what they call the ALF reg, Assisted Living Facility Regulation. It predated its development predated that. So we would like to get this put into the assisted living zone.
For the record on that comment,
Yes.
this commission, I don't know whether you were familiar with some of the applications. We have taken the stance that properties that are pre-existing non-conforming for decades can be viewed as conforming and are entitled to that zone because they've proven
Correct.
their worth without the issues. We've allowed that, and we've had a couple applications convert to actually be those zones because they've already proved it out.
Sure.
It's like their probationary period's over, okay?
But this is a very unique property, given its size, given its location, given its almost a mixed-use character with the independent cottages surrounding the property. And it's a 10-acre piece with this house that's still owned by the diocese cut out in the middle. So we've made some text amendments which I think would really do justice to this property, but also in some ways limited so that the commission would not have to worry about certain increases in either height or density would travel around the town. I'm not sure if your reg change has been redlined. If you're not
Yes.
getting, it is redlined, so you
Yeah.
can follow me.
Yeah, if you want to just take us through the highlights, because I think the concept, everybody kind of understands the way we were explained and the way you just explained it the exact same way. It's an existing use that you would just like to expand the same existing use and the number of buildings that are actually allowed on that property
Right.
for the same exact use to avoid it going to the public and it be open to development that we cannot control.
Correct.
I think that pretty much sums it up. So if
Thank
you
you.
want to run us through those red lines,
Can I
We'd
make
be-
your statement part of my presentation? Thank
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
So if you look at the red line, and you'll see it, I'll take you on the first page. One of the things they had was that they wanted 24-hour per day security. Maplewood has 18 communities, basically New Jersey, Connecticut, I think you have 5 or 6 in Connecticut, Bethel, Southport, Norwalk. They have in Massachusetts, they have in Washington DC, and they have about 18 communities and about 2,000 units that they manage. It's very much a regional developer. They're all very well done. I'll show you some pictures of the kind of things they've done. One of the things they do is they wanted to be able to add that it doesn't necessarily have to be, that 24-day security can be provided by security services and/or trained on-site staff. They don't need a guy with a gun in these things sitting there at the desk. They train their staff, they train their facilities, and they feel they can properly secure the property.
Okay.
Keep in mind, in this, it's also in a very much of a suburban mentality.
Right.
And with the care that comes with, memory care and assisted living.
We're good.
We think that this more than covers is adequate to make this work.
Okay.
If you go to page 2, each facility shall possess any and all federal, state, and/or local permits. We just
That's
crossed out local permits.
that's editing.
Because
Next.
you're providing, it's an edited thing. We also said that basically that on people there can be where you have the restriction that it's 55 or older and no occupant under the age of 15. We wanted to call that, you called it active adult, we called it, they're basically independent living units, which is basically the same thing, but basically comes under your affordable. These independent dwelling units, but the service shall not be required if not permitted under federal state regulations. It required certain services that had to be done to be active adult. We feel that the independent living works out very well. The active adult dwelling units are restricted by age standards, and the active adult are not required to provide the services specified in Article 2. So Article 2 provided a lot of, you had to have a cafeteria, you had all these certain amenities. We would provide an amenity package, but we're not required, it'll be part of our special permit application. We talk about the independent living units. The independent living units that may be constructed within a new building or in addition to an existing building in an ALF, in accordance with the remaining standards, which we're going to add, a density no greater than the total number of bedrooms and units existing within the existing assisted living facility. So for example, St. Joseph's Manor has like 270 units. With our new building and a renovation of the old building, I still think we're going to be less than 150 units. It's going to be bigger, better, more more room versus, those, almost like some of those units are like hospital rooms. So they're going to be, some as big as 600 is the studios, 850 I think is the 1 bedrooms, and 1,100 square feet for 2 bedrooms. So it's going to be a very nice facility. Setbacks. This is, which is important, it talks about setbacks from property lines are 50 feet, except that a side setback line can be reduced to a minimum of 20 feet where the commission makes a determination that the proposed height will not be visually detrimental to the neighboring properties. By way of example, since it's a text amendment, would have to be hypothetical. If you had a situation where you had for example, a building, a single-family building that happens to be in the middle, and you needed some kind of side variance, even though, because certain properties have a weird layout. Let me show you. For example, this lot here is not part of St. Joseph's Manor. It's an independent piece. When we do our buildings, we may need some relief under your side setback. Once again, it's all determined.
And that property's on Main Street.
The property's on Main Street. It's a house on Main Street. So this is the existing buildings. Our client is
The blue.
completely renovate these 2 buildings and then add a new independent living facility. This is going to be
The
assisted.
blue is existing, the green is what you're gonna build,
Correct.
hypothetically.
Hypothetical. Thank you. So what we're asking is that except when and the next one is maximum lot coverage. We'd like to increase the lot coverage to 20% from 15. And that is except when an ALF is in abuts a BC Long Hill Green and Town Hall node, the permitted maximum lot coverage shall be increased to 20%. Reason I brought this, showing your Town Hall node, showing your Long Hill Green. There's not going to be anything that I think the minimum is 6 acres. There's not going to be anything surrounding these or abutting these that's 6 acres. And in effect, you also have the level of protection that if anybody wants to use the ALF, they have to come before you and seek a zone change. So it's not a matter of, wow, it's permitted, it's a two-step process. And then get the zone change and then apply for the special permit in accordance with the ALF. So there's really no risk to you there, because if somebody does manage to accumulate properties, you still have to agree to the zone change, of which you have your most discretion because you act in your legislative capacity. So the maximum height, we spent a lot of time on this. We had discussions in town hall, and one of the questions was about height and being on Main Street. And I'm going to explain to you, and then I'll show you how this would apply. And once again, we put a catch-all in there so if the commission feels that height is detrimental to neighboring properties, you have the right to deny it. So maximum height is 50 feet or 2 stories, whichever is greater, except if the ALF contains an existing building. So we're trying to limit where it applies, so you don't have to worry about popping up all over town, which exceeds these bulk standards, which the current does. The current building's 6 stories, and I think almost 80 feet to the top. And that abuts a BC Hill, Long Green, and Town Hall node. Any proposed new construction can have a maximum height of 52 feet, that the new construction is connected to the existing building, maintains a maximum height of 40 feet for a minimum distance of 100 feet from the street property line, and does not exceed 4 stories. The commission then also makes the determination that the proposed height will not be visually detrimental to neighboring properties. This is an important application, and this is a unique property, using this property as a hypothetical. So this is kind of what the look that Maplewood builds. That is some of the, as you can see, these are the type of buildings that build. They're very, very pretty. They're very high end. And once again, you guys will have control and have input on architectural. So one of the things we tried to show, because in trying to make this work with the 20% coverage, you need some height. Once again, as I said, we're reducing the density on the site, even with the new building added. So if you're on Main Street, we plan for the first 100 feet, and this is this little stick guy down here. At 40 feet, you're basically here, if you're looking up. Keep in mind, if you know the St. Joe's property, it goes straight up a hill. It probably sits top of St. Joe's from ground level to, is probably 20, 30, 25 feet above the street level. And then the current building to the top, and then there's also a storage up here, is 64 feet. What we would like to do is basically come in where it's 100 feet back, you can have to be 40 feet. You'll then be able to increase it to 4 floors. As you can see from the visual, because of the steep grades and because of the building behind, we believe we can hide the 4 floors and still have the visual that these buildings are no higher than 40 feet, even though they will actually be
Okay,
52 feet.
we can go on.
So, once again, the language gives us the application, all it does is give us the opportunity to apply. It does not grant us anything, and we also added the catch-all, making sure, knowing how sensitive the commission was to height, if you don't like it, you still have the right to deny it. You have that right to make that independent facility. If you go to the next page, there should be a storm drainage system we put for all new construction, which shall collect, carry off, and dispose. The reason that's there is we don't know if we can redesign the entire property, but anything that's new construction will be built 100% in accordance with all your standards. And provisions for vehicles. That's is on 2.5.8, a minimum of 0.7 spaces per assisted living dwelling unit and 1.5 spaces for independent, active, or adult. The assisted living and the memory care, even the 0.7 is high. We've done presentations, and I have from some, one of the presentations we did in another project, where it basically says the ITE standard is 0.24 to 0.74 for a assisted living memory care project. Once again, in this instance, you will have control, but there'll be more than enough parking.
Great. Next.
Next. Last, a written statement of proposal shall be complied with section 2, if applicable, of these regulations. That's no problem. The rest are just some editorial, basically edits to make the language appropriate.
Got it.
But that is,
All right, I'm going to go around to the commissioners. I'm going to start with Ms. Hall because I've been
oh,
finishing
can I,
with her.
Matt, there's one last one
Go ahead.
that you need to know about. On the last page, basically, we add, because of the size of the building and how far they are from the street, we would want the sign to be no more than 25 square feet in area, and shall not exceed 6 feet in height. You need to be able to see a sign. And then finally, the siding. Typically, what happens now is we have field stone, vertical siding, high-grade vinyl. We wanted to add fiber cement siding and modern EFIS product that includes back drainage. It's basically, it's not drive it, it's a different type of what they call EFIS material, but we would bring.
Right. So we'll be voting on this entire red line package?
Correct.
Good. All right. All set? Excellent. Ms. Hall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My only confusion is I'm not really sure where this new facility sits. If I'm looking at it and I'm viewing it, is it at the bottom of the hill or the top of the hill?
Bottom of the hill in front of the building. So what the plan, so for example, let me go back to here.
Your blue-green chart.
This is the existing, sorry.
Put the blue-green
This
one
is
up.
the existing, I'm going to do that now. This is the existing building now. There's the house up here. I'm sorry, can you see that? I can come to you. Main Street, existing house, this is all existing building is gray, and the green would be, as we can show, it's going to have that setback, I think it's at least 50 or 60 feet, and then it has to, for 100 feet, be no higher than 40 feet. And what they did was, as I say, have this courtyard in this general area, that is where a lot of the height will be absorbed, but it'll be absorbed within the grade.
Right. St. Joe's is set hundreds of feet back. They're going to use all the,
Where like the flower shop was?
no, next to it. In between, the setback from the wall moving in, but then all that grass up to the building. They're going to build another building in front of it, as their intent.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ms. Hall? Ms. Delvecchio?
Good, thank you.
Mr. Silver?
So you're 50 feet from Main Street. Attorney Rizzio. Do I read that right?
Yeah, we're not changing anything with regard to Main Street with regard to the setback. The only thing is we're allowing that in the first 100 feet will be no higher than,
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
this is the building here.
Good. All right. All set, Tom? Good. Mr. Kroll?
So you changed active adult to independent living, but then we keep referring to active adult in various places. So is there a difference between independent living and active adult, or should we only have one term?
Probably a good catch.
Yeah, no, there's a difference between the two. We will be independent living. There's, I have to, let me get your definition. So, Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because it looks like D1 defines independent living, and
Go
then
ahead.
D2
So
Rena
looks like it's trying to
Bachelor, Director
define.
of Economic and Community Development. Independent living, generally speaking, has amenities such as meals and housekeeping. It's not necessarily medical care, but it's meals and housekeeping associated with it. The active adult does not necessarily have those amenities. It's seniors living there, but they don't necessarily have meals prepared for them in a kitchen or cafeteria setting, et cetera, okay? So there
So
are
it's
two
just-
different terms.
it's like normal age-restricted housing
Yes,
versus
yes,
housing
active-
for age-restricted, but they offer also
Right.
limited services of meals and other
Right,
things.
and then assisted living's a step beyond independent living where there's more care given.
Convalescent almost.
Yeah, more care, yep. Sorry.
Thank you.
So, I mean, do we think that's clear enough in here?
Yeah, well,
The
it's the
distinction?
terminology that they're using in here. I'm glad you pulled that out, but he spoke about it at the beginning, which was convalescent, assisted care, and age-restricted, right? So those are the three types. Those are just the legal terms that they're putting in there.
All right. And for the setbacks, so you have your change here in 2.5.4, where you say, except a setback from a side property line can be reduced to a minimum of 20 feet, where the commission makes the determination that the proposed height not be visually detrimental to neighboring properties. Could we or should we consider adding any sort of text, Mr. Chairman, that says something like, and that no other aspect of the proposed structure be detrimental to the neighboring property? So not just based on height?
I think that's by default automatic, right? I understand your point, but I almost would need the attorney to interpret or Rob, because I think that's default what we're doing when we look at the application. We're saying, does this build negatively affect, right?
That would be part of the special permit process to
Yeah.
make sure that it complies with the characteristics of the area.
In my parochial days, the way I was described, the special permit, they have to meet our opinion as well as this criteria.
You could deny it on that.
We can
basis.
deny it because we think that it's going to be detrimental. So I
Okay.
agree with your intent, what we should supervise, and I think it's already there built in the application itself.
Okay, I just didn't know if only having the word height there limited.
No, I think,
limited it.
correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rizzio, is that because hypothetically, Mr. Kroll, the intent of what they possibly could build, they have an area where they think they're going to do it, and they know that they're going to be probably 20 feet, and they're going to build the height and the obstruction so that it's not a negative, but they didn't want to come in the 11th hour. They wanted to be upfront and say, if this shows up, we want to know that it's allowed as long as we do it right.
Commissioner Kroll, you also have that catch-all, as I pointed out before, is if you really don't like it, you just deny the zone change and we're done. I mean, that's, you don't even get to the special permit, so you pretty much, from my years of being in front of this commission, you get your zone change when you come in with that project that seems to fit what they're looking for. If we come in with an ugly building, I don't expect to see a zone change granted by this commission.
All right.
'Cause,
The only other thing right at the very end where we say this is actually, well, it's partially changed. So it says one extension for an additional period not to exceed originally 1 year, now 2 years, may be granted by commission after a hearing for good cause.
The interesting thing is, under state statutes, your special permits, I think you're entitled to 5 years anyway.
Yeah.
And that basically just makes it consistent with statutes.
Yeah.
And you know what happens also with financing issues, things pop up, people need time. So we're basically making the regulation consistent with state statutes.
All right. But I mean, even one extension, right? If something still goes wrong at some point in the future.
We've done 2 and 3 here in the
You're
past.
not
They
gonna,
come
you're not
up.
gonna say, sorry.
Right,
leave
no, we
this,
don't.
half-done
I've been
project."
part of extensions for the second and third time because, as the attorneys say, they're allowed 5 by law, right? Something like that.
That's everything I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cousins. Oh, sorry. He wanted to jump back in for a second. Go ahead.
It's all right.
You sure? All right. Nothing. Mr. Deacon,
Mr. Kroll answered my question.
he answered your question. Look at that. We're right back at you. You have anything? No?
No, I'll just say this: the presentation appears to be going out of its way to accommodate the site and the Planning and Zoning Commission and the town, the sort of ambiance of the town. So I feel good about it.
Yeah. I feel good about the application itself because, we all see the world we live in here in Trumbull. Trumbull is the place to be, and it's hard to get here, and there's not a lot of stock. So when you have applicants that are interested in maintaining 10 acres in let's just say, the most protected categories that we have of convalescent and assisted and age-restricted, that we can go forward in that world, I think that's a positive for us, especially with 10 acres on Main Street. So I think that's a good thing.
You have a, what is it? God, I can't even think about now, how all my whole life. So you got a 60-year-old building that's gonna get a complete rehab.
Right.
Brought up to current standards, and then adding these other aspects to long-term care on this campus. I mean, it's gonna be a full-service adult campus, which in the perfect spot. It's actually and talking to Rena and talking to Rob, it's really the bookend to this Long Hill Village. I mean, you now are gonna have people come to visit their relatives. They've got restaurants to go to that they didn't have before. It becomes very much bringing a nice residential bookend to all this valuable commercial space. So it also will help the commercial space that's adjoining it.
Okay, is there anybody here from the public to speak on this application, either for or against? If you're here for that purpose, come on up. If you're not,
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add something. I think one of the most important things we're going to have to do when this application does come in front of this commission is review the architecture of this. Like Attorney Rizzio was saying, this is a very old building, and how are we going to look at it? And like you said, it's the bookend, so this is going to almost be the entrance to Long Hill Green Zone, and the design of it's going to be so significant and so important because it's going to have so many layers and so many dimensions because of the elevation. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the old is going to get redone and what the new is going to look like. And
presenting some choices to staff when you're in that process, if this goes forward, probably would help.
Staff and Rena have made it very clear they want to see a nice building. We won't be here without it. And I will tell you, they have such an interest. If you're going to put a first-class product up front, you've got to make the back look good. It's not going to look like it's,
Institution?
old facility.
Mr. Chairman, may? Yeah, when was that building built?
I think I remember, it's got to be in the 50s, because I can tell you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what it looks like.
In the mid-60s,
Yeah.
I remember going up there.
And it looks like the architecture of,
Looks like an institutional.
well, that's right,
And
that's right. You
like
think
said,
Fairfield
somebody
Hills or
wants-
whatever,
Somebody's
yeah.
going to lock you in there. Yeah.
Okay. All right, hearing no further comments, I'll take a motion to close the hearing. Did he? I did. All right. Mr. Deacon, second. Ms. Del Vecchio. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Mr. Silber's voting now. Yeah. I'll take a motion. Mr. Deacon to approve. Is there a second? Ms. Del Vecchio. Any further comments or questions on the application as presented? Nope, hearing none. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Congratulations. Thank you. And it complies with our POCD and takes effect on December 1st, 2025. All right. Now, is there a planner's report? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we have something unique here. We have a resolution for to rescind an application. This has to do with upper on Trefoil Drive. They came with their initial application, and it was passed. Yeah, the initial application was approved, and it's in court in appeal. And since that time, the applicant came back with a second application, which was approved. So the applicant is asking that we actually rescind the first application that was approved so that the court case is mute.
Question for council. Let's say somehow the second one gets rejected by the court. Don't we want them to have a backup to go back to the first one?
So that is a really good question, Commissioner Deacon. I was in court last week, and the judge requested that we take action to rescind the prior approval so that that case may be withdrawn. And both the attorney for the applicant and the attorney for the party appealing agreed to that scenario. So,
It's their decision.
yeah.
Okay, I'll move to approve, or to rescind.
Okay, so we have a motion to rescind the site plan approval for application 2506 One Trefoil Drive. The applicant was 111 LLC. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Silver. Any questions? No, hearing none, all in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. Okay, that's a first for me, 25 years, never rescinded, never, never. Okay, now planners report. Thank you. Acceptance of the minutes from October.
Read the meeting minutes for October 1st, 2015, found them in 2025, I know what year it is, found them to be in the regular order, found them, whatever my usual speech is, I approve it.
Good. Is there a second? Mr. Delvecchio, thank you. All in favor, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're done. Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. All right. Huh?